Now the moment you've all been waiting for.
I am Nate Riggle, and you are listening to The Way of the Bonfire. All right, welcome back to The Way of the Bonfire. Gosh, I'm glad you tuned in again. Every time you jump on here, that means that I'm doing something. I'm doing something right, people. Why would you come back if it wasn't worth coming back to? If it is your first time, I'm going to lay on a full summary of what this podcast is right now. This is the podcast focused on bringing the world together in more meaningful and lasting ways so that people can make the most of their lives. Let's keep rolling here. I'm shooting from the hip a little bit today. Sometimes you just got to pick things up and get after it. I say shooting from the hip because I don't have an outline in front of me, but I kind of know what I want to talk about. And I think that's a good principle to even start us off with, that we do overthink it sometimes. Sometimes we want to have everything just so, and it keeps us from doing the thing completely sometimes, to where we never even do it. Because then other things come up because we couldn't stop just thinking about what we're trying to do. Or it causes us to delay way more than we need to. It's a fine line. We don't want to put garbage out there, but we also don't want to let perfection keep us from moving forward. Today I want to talk about this powerful principle that I learned from my older brother, Bret. He lives up in Idaho, and I went to visit him because I was dealing with some of the stuff that I've already talked about on this podcast, where it felt like there was a jam in my mind. It felt like I was making progress. I was learning things. I was kind of unknotting the mess that had built up in there over time, but I needed just a little more of something. And he said, get up here. I have some things I want to show you, because he's been dealing with cancer for a while, and he probably doesn't like that I'm telling the whole world about this, but I think it at least sets the stage. So I'm not going to give you all the details, but he's done a ton of research on himself and his body, and he's taken his health and his life into his own hands. And sometimes the experts, they just don't have all the answers. They don't have it all curated perfectly. And what he's done is he has spent a lot of time working on his mind and the power of the mind to overcome things in different ways through neuroscience and all the kind of the combination of all these different things. But one of the things that he taught me while I was up there with him was he had me jump on a treadmill, and he was next to me on the treadmill jogging along. And he said, I want you to think about something that you want to have happen in your life. And I was like, oh, he's doing a visualization. Like I did the stupid thing where I jump ahead and try to figure everything out that someone's going to say. And then I was like, no, slow down. He probably has something more than what you think you already know. And so I did that, which was good. And he said, whatever it is you want to do, think about the thing that's going to happen at different milestones or phases of that pursuit of that goal. So if you want to run a marathon, or if you want to have a better relationship with your wife, think about the different things that might happen along the way to getting to that point. And as you're running on this treadmill, I want you to look down, and at each quarter mile, imagine that thing happening when you reach that quarter mile marker. So at a quarter mile, maybe you've lost a lot of weight and you've become stronger in some way. At the half mile marker, you can now jump higher and run 50 miles without stopping. At the 0.75 mile marker, this is the new milestone that you're going to hit, and so on. And I realized that what he was showing me was that we can link our physical milestones. We can leverage the timeline of our lives and our visualization of that timeline and tie it to the physical thing that we're doing in a very real way, so that our mind and our body are in harmony and everything is pointing toward something great that's going to happen at each one of those milestones. So that was a cool technique. I just wanted to share it. It's helped me a lot. Whatever I do, if it's something physical, I'll link it to something mental or a goal, and I'll attach the milestone or the phase along the way to some phase of something else. And we've got, I think we're on episode 48, 47. And guess what? I've been doing that all along with this podcast. When I hit episode 25, there was new things and new series that I wanted to share and integrate into the podcast. When I hit episode 50, we got some really good stuff coming. And I want to share that this has all been intentional. While some of the journey has been random, open and flexible, and I am just shooting from the hip, the milestones have allowed me to come up with how we can make things better and bring more impact into the world for myself and for anybody that's connected to this podcast. One of the milestones that I wanted to hit when I get to episode 50 is I wanted to have decided how I was going to bring this into more reality in the world. And I've launched a new business that's focusing on personal development and professional development, and how our connections and our relationships and our partnerships in those two worlds can be grown to make the most of our lives. I'm going to share a whole bunch more on this. There's going to be some invites. I'm going to be launching some stuff for you to participate in. And not all of it's going to be me pushing product or trying to put ads and stuff in this podcast. That's not my goal. It's to allow you to be more involved and allow this bonfire to grow a little bit more. There will be a business element to it. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And that's the thing about our lives, is that things will change. There will be different phases, but we don't need to abandon the good stuff along the way. So get hyped, get excited, because sometimes hyped is, that just means we're pretending, but I'm excited to share this stuff with you, and got 1 or 2 more episodes until that gets revealed and unveiled. So stay with me, stay tuned, tell your friends, put a rating out there, give us a review. We got so much good stuff coming, and it's going to impact you personally if you choose to let it. Go get them. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. I love the chance to make your day better in some way, whether that ends up being just a quick reset that you needed to change things up, or even just a laugh or some fresh perspective. If you're getting value out of it, can you please do me a favor and share it with someone else? Because as more people find and listen to the show, I'm able to bring more good stuff more often. It is the fuel to the bonfire. Also, I'd love to hear your feedback and any thoughts or ideas or questions you have, so we can be more connected and make the show even better with your input and your inspiration. The quickest way to do that is to send a message to my Instagram handle at wayofthebonfire, which is also included in the show notes. And if you just want to avoid accidentally scrolling on social media, you can send me an email at nate@wayofthebonfire.com. And you know it, but make sure you click that follow button so you can catch new episodes as soon as they're available. Keep tending the bonfire, and we'll see you on the next one.